A supportive environment for entrepreneurs is key for new business creation and for new business growth. Just as a favorable climate encourages new companies to put down roots, an unfavorable climate can cause successful startups to seek more hospitable places, more hospitable communities. The Charleston region's entrepreneurial environment continues to be strong, improving 6 points between 2005 and 2010, the highest among all peers and leading metros. New business investments in manufacturing and innovation sectors create a ripple effect of related business-to-business and consumer-to-business spending, resulting in additional new jobs and growth in the region's business services sector. This chart examines which specific jobs have grown the most in business services. As you can see, since 2005, the largest growth was in two areas. We've added 65 new computer system design firms, a 44% growth, and 55 new management consulting firms, a 29% growth. The continued growth of small businesses is dependent on the continued growth of the region's gross regional product and our target industry clusters. So Brian, I'm going to shift back to you and ask you what needs to be done to continue this incredible and very positive momentum.
David, it is a momentum game. I think we all know as business people, we want to find that path where we have the greatest level of support and the least amount of resistance. One of the key things is to ensure we have a business climate that supports growth of business, and that means we can be sure that the regulatory environment is clear at the local and state level and supports that. And of course we need regulations, but we don't want them preventing business from moving forward. If it takes months to get a permit approved and we have to have a business tax climate, it can't take months, to get a permit approved, and we have to have a business tax climate that's competitive with others. Our reality today is that businesses can locate anywhere in the United States and the world to conduct their value-added activities. We want to make sure they pick this environment, so it has to be the right environment. We need to ensure that startups have the amount of support they need in that critical first 1 to 5 year germination and incubacy area. From knowing where to go for help to knowing what licenses and permits they need. We have to provide a nurturing environment that supports these newly forming businesses. And once again, we have to develop a regional strategy to graduate, attract, and retain top talent. We're finding more and more businesses, David and his team see this daily. Their first question is about, can I find the skilled employees I need both now and long term to effectively grow my company? It's this talent that we need to provide for both large and small businesses as we grow our community in the years ahead.
In an increasingly competitive global economy, as Brian just mentioned, attracting and retaining this top talent has become a critical economic development issue. He just said it well. It is absolutely at the top of every industry and every company we deal with today. With a strong demand for specialized knowledge and skills, highly educated workers have more flexibility in where they choose to live and work, just as Brian mentioned. As such, an area's lifestyle attributes are more and more important in this long-term economic success plan we're talking about. The Charleston region's quality of place improved 8 points from 2005 to 2010, the highest increase of all peer and leading metros, primarily due to reductions in the still relatively high crime rate and strong growth in healthcare access. The region's population continues to grow at twice as fast as the U.S. and is outpacing all 6 similar metros. The high percentage of daily commutes in congested conditions remains an issue, though, in this kind of high-growth population environment. We know traffic conditions on I-26 threaten the vitality of this region. And we must find funding to improve the critical corridor and examine other congestion solutions as well. A lack of affordable housing also continues to be an area of concern for our region. As you can see from this chart, the Charleston region literally ranks last on housing affordability. Housing and traffic congestion are absolutely related. If area workers can't afford to live near their jobs, the result is longer commutes, higher cost, and more sprawl. And so, Brian, I'm going to shift back to you and ask you for your thoughts on some of those challenges.
Thank you, David. I mentioned earlier that businesses we talk to each and every day tell us how important talent is to their future success. There is one other issue that continually is at the top of the list that they share, and that's our region's infrastructure. This year, we've just completed 150 calls to our largest business members. Infrastructure and talent, every time we talk to a business owner, vie for number one or number two. Our region must have the necessary infrastructure in place for businesses to be able to get their people to and from work and their products in and out of their facilities each and every day. We have enormous infrastructure needs in our three-county region. This is as critical as developing and retaining the needed talent to support our future prosperity as a metro area. If we are in gridlock every day, we are wasting time and talent and losing business opportunities. Recently, we spoke to a COO and a CFO that had located a major employer in our region. They said two things drive their location decisions: speed to market and speed to implementation. And when something gets in the way, like infrastructure or a lack of talent, we can't produce the product and get it as quickly to market as we need. This is a very pressing issue for our region. Housing affordability is directly tied to infrastructure needs, as well as a big deterrent in being able to attract and retain young professionals to our market. David and I have enjoyed covering these four critical economic success slides, and now in closing, I hope you've noticed some key recurring themes. Our region is extremely fortunate to have not only weathered the recession, but to have had several significant announcements during the same time that have propelled us onto the global stage. As we review the 2012 report, one of the things that we found is that in nearly every instance, we have outperformed the communities we compare ourselves to that were our original 6 peer communities. While we have done that and we're excited about jumping over them and moving ahead, we remain far below the performance of Raleigh and Austin, those communities that we aspire to have a comparable performance to. What this data tells us is that we are no longer peers of our peer community group. We've moved ahead, and that's very exciting. Our competition is now much more successful and represents larger marketplaces, such as Raleigh, Austin, and others. If we're going to compete successfully in the 21st century, we need to address 4 absolutely critical issues. Number 1, we must transform our region's infrastructure system into a world-class multimodal system that we can have for decades to come for both our anticipated population growth, the expansion of each of your individual businesses, and the attraction of new businesses to our marketplace. We must invest, and David and I both underline invest, in education to transform outcomes and significantly grow our talent pipeline. And again, we don't have decades to do it. We need to get it done in the next 10 years. We must develop and build the systems necessary to promote and support innovation, and we should start by passing the legislation that we described in 2013 to assure that our state has more venture capital funding for those innovative companies that want to launch and excel in the Charleston metro area. And finally, we must graduate, attract, and retain highly skilled professionals to provide the talent fuel you need to effectively grow your respective businesses and for other companies to come here and excel. That's our agenda. Very clear, 4 critical areas, and we're excited to partner with you in pursuing it. David?
So the challenges and opportunities identified today indicate, as you can see, a lot to be excited about, but a lot of challenges ahead and much work is needed. Our regional organizations have a role to play and must work together to move our economy forward. I encourage you to spend some time with the scorecard and share this important information that it contains with your colleagues and your contacts. And you can find the full report online at crda.org/economic scorecard.
You want to say that again, David? It's so important.
So,
come on.
Sure, Brian.
Come on, say it again.
crda.org/economic scorecard. You can find this full report. And there are not two reports. This is just one condensed, focused report highlighting these indicators we've just walked through, how we stack up. And I can tell you, the indicators you're seeing are very positive, obviously, very positive relative to our competition and all that. But I think the short of it is there is a lot of work to be done to really sustain this kind of quality growth into the future. And that's not just two guys on the stage trying to make a point this morning. It's just the reality. And we're going to have to all embrace it, do the hard work, get education, infrastructure, all of these talent pipeline kind of issues straight. So I guess in conclusion, if we all work together, the point is to align our work to strengthen and grow this region through these core competencies and assets, we will truly be and can truly be a global destination for business and a global destination for talent.